Hello and welcome to ETCFO. We are here at the fifth edition of ETCFO Leadership Summit, and I have with me Mr. Sabyasachee, who is our tax veteran. Hi, sir. How are you?
Hey, good evening. I'm really doing good, Alec. Thanks for me. Thanks for me. Having me here.
Sir, we are here at ETCFO Leadership Summit, and you being a leader in taxation, I want to ask to you, like, how do you see the future of compliance, tax compliance in India in next 5 years?
Wow, this is a great question. So thanks for framing this question. So we all understand it's a watershed moment in terms of tax laws in the country are going through unprecedented reforms on several fronts we are seeing several what do you say actions for both from government as well as from different groups who are otherwise associated with the tax implementation, enforcement, compliance. So when I say this, I refer to the consulting world, the taxpayers community, and even the general practitioners. So in nutshell, there are a lot of affirmative actions that are happening in tax space to simplify the tax law so that at the end, the constitutional right of the government, that is to collect, levy the right tax, happens. At the same time, the enforcement becomes a painless or a very, I won't say pleasant, but at least it's not as draconian as it used to be. And in the process, the collection of the right tax happens in a more democratic way. And to achieve that goal, I think, and it's not an overnight process, it takes time. And while government has been doing its part in terms of adopting new technology, I mean, incidentally, this is one such area where government is ahead of the business community. So therefore, it's the business that reacts to the steps which are originally initiated by the government, and that's a very encouraging thing because that not only brings transparency, that brings a lot of reforms that was all absent in prior to all these reforms were taken up. So in that sense, it's a great time for all of us to feel good about that our tax laws are today are more business friendly. They are more there is more element of certainty, so that rules out the undue empowerment of groups who used to interpret tax laws the way they wanted. So those things are slowly getting optimized, rationalized, which is good both for the state as well as for the taxpayers.
Very interesting. Sir, when I generally interact with CFOs, 8 out of 10 CFOs says compliance is something, specifically the tax compliance is something that gives them a sleepless nights. So, sir, I want to ask you what are your advice as a tax expert to them that how should they deal with the tax compliance?
Oh, that's again a very what do you call relevant topic that you raised, and thanks for it. Tax compliance is today something which should not be confused just reporting of your numbers. And just to give a flavor to it, gone are those days where the tax officers are only privy to the information that was being submitted with the tax authorities. Today, even before we go ahead and report, tax department, the revenue authorities are more or less aware of what the transaction that was originated by us through e-invoicing, through UA bill, through 26S on the income tax thing. So both on the DT, IDT space. And second thing is there have been MOU between both the tax streams where and even other agencies including income tax, banks. So they all are they all are working in unison to achieve that there is only single source of truth. So what that means for a business is to set up your compliance game very accurately, which is scalable, which is what do you call fit for purpose in terms of responding to the to very sometimes very onerous and rigorous demand from the revenue authorities. So they give you very less time, but they expect you to respond to their laundry list of requirement in a record time. So those things are the new normals one has to get used to, and probably that is where today the technical and technology discussion, that is the tech part, is always discussed along with tax because they both are so integrated today. So neither of them is discussed in isolation. Yeah.
Very meaningful point, sir. One last final question, and it's specifically on the event and ETCFO. Like, how was your experience of this event? That is the first part, and the second part is like, uh, particularly for ETCFO website, what is your advice for us? Like a particular sort of content with regards to text we should focus on so that we reaches uh, a decent number among the audience which is keen on reading the text stories.
Oh, sure. In fact, I would be a little rather biased towards ETCFO because in the past I have subscribed to it through few of my contributions in the sense. So I have written few articles. Mostly, I think I started off during pandemic. So thanks to ETCFO team, particularly editor Amol, if I may name him. Uh, See, I think ETCF is one of the best business paper that we have today online. Site it gives you a 365-degree insights because it is very industry agnostic. So it covers almost all the segments of the business. That's number one. Number two, the insight that it tries to publish there, they quite represent a very larger spectrum of what is happening in our economy. So what that means, I mean, when I say that, uh, the topics and the industry chosen are not very. I mean, they don't move in a particular direction, or they're not. There is no much concentration that happens. So that means it proves the what do you say, independence and unbiased nature of the platform, so that cater to almost all the segments of the economy, and that itself already makes it a very mature and purposeful platform. But in terms of addition, if I have to do that, probably if if we can have more interviews coming through, because that and rather than monologue pieces. I know it covers a lot of interview. If that space can be considered for more frequent, or more priority can be diverted towards interview section, probably that people would relate more to. And that again, my personal view. Even otherwise, this is fine today.
Noted your suggestions for us, and really nice and heartening to hear to your compliments about EDCFO. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was